An incident which hasn't received a lot of mainstream media attention is the suspected Russian incendiary device placed on a DHL aircraft bound for the UK, which has raised alarming questions about Moscow's tactics and their intentions. On July the 22nd, a fire erupted in a DHL warehouse near Birmingham, prompting counter-terrorist police to investigate the possible link to Russian intelligence, specifically the GRU. And the parcel, which arrived by air, could have had catastrophic consequences had it ignited during flight. The incident mirrors another suspicious fire at a DHL facility in Leipzig in Germany around the same time, and German intelligence has warned that the package caught fire in flight. Had the package caught fire in flight, it might have caused a crash. Both cases are now part of a broader investigation, particularly as Britain is now investigating the Salisbury killings, as intelligence agencies across Europe grapple with what appears to be an escalating campaign of sabotage by Russian operatives. And these incidents, which were only publicly revealed after investigations by The Guardian and German media outlets, have sparked criticism over the delay in disclosure and raised fears about the safety of air transport in the context of growing Russian hostility. Ken McCullum, the head of MI5, recently cautioned that Russian intelligence is on a sustained mission to generate mayhem across Europe, citing arson, sabotage and other disruptive actions linked to the GRU. And this latest DHL fire is just one example of a wider pattern of aggression, with Russia likely targeting countries that have provided support to Ukraine in its ongoing conflict with Moscow after Putin's invasion. This incident is not an isolated case of Russian sabotage. Earlier this year, arson attacks linked to Russian plots have been reported across the UK, including a warehouse fire in London and several other incidents across Europe. And as tensions between Russia and the West deepen, intelligence agencies are facing a surge in espionage and subversive activity. British police, along with their European counterparts, are working to determine whether these DHL fires are part of that coordinated effort by Moscow to disrupt air traffic and create chaos in Europe. The incident also shines a light on the vulnerabilities of global logistics networks, with DHL now working to enhance security measures in response to these threats. There's a widespread concern that if these packages had ignited mid-flight, they could have led to devastating crashes, an outcome that German intelligence notes would have been unavoidable in the Leipzig case. Such acts of sabotage reflect Russia's shifting strategy in its confrontation with the West. Having failed to secure diplomatic leverage through traditional means, Moscow, the Kremlin, appears to be resorting to clandestine attacks on critical infrastructure. And this tactic echoes back to Cold War espionage, where covert operations sought to destabilize and threaten adversaries indirectly. As this investigation continues, it raises critical questions about how European countries will respond to the persistent threat posed by Russian intelligence. And the UK's recent sanctions on Russian oil tankers signals a tougher stance, but as incidents like these DHL fires demonstrate, Russia is willing to use any means, legal or otherwise, to retaliate. The question now is how to counter this kind of hybrid warfare. Intelligence sharing and coordination between European nations is essential. But as these recent DHL incidents suggest, it may take more than reactive measures. We're witnessing a modern form of sabotage, one that is harder to detect, disrupt and prevent, especially as it targets everyday logistics and infrastructure with potentially catastrophic consequences. In short, the DHL fires serve as a sobering reminder that Russia's campaign against Europe extends far beyond the battle lines.